Good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, October 7th. It's weekly real estate update time. And Jaden Bax is with me again this week. Jaden, how are you?
I'm loving life, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Great.
Beautiful fall weather. I mean, I know there's some stuff coming this weekend. The name we will not refer to. It starts with an S and ends with a W. But yeah, not so fun.
Let's not talk about it. Leave that. That's our future selves problem. Today we're loving
Exactly.
life. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So last week I promised you that we would take a look at that final benchmark price from September. So right off the bat today, I'm going to share my screen. Oops, let's remove that. And hold on one second. It's always a technological challenge. All right. So here's our total pricing. So we're going to just zoom in on this left-hand side here. So you can see our total sales. We looked at this a little bit last week. I'm not going to go through all the numbers. What I wanted to point out was our total benchmark price was up 9.39% year over year. And our sales were actually up 58% over 2 years ago and 26% over last year. Last year in fall is when the market started to turn, started to see less listings coming on. I mean, by January, it was banana balls. But in fall is when we started to really, as Jaden, I think you mentioned last week, we started to see our spring market kind of, which was delayed, started in fall. So there's our numbers, 9.39%. Now that is total. Let's take a quick look here. It's going to, of course, zoom me out again. You can see 10.59% increase in detached pricing in September. And sorry for all the scrolling here. Then we had 8% increase row townhouse. Semi-detached did very, very well, 9.89%, with a massive jump in sales. The reasoning for that is because there's been less supply for detached homes. People are opting for semi-detached instead of not getting anything at all. And then our apartments, big jump in sales from 2 years ago, 49.59%, 50% up from last year in September. And then our benchmark price, I mean, 2.25% for apartment condos. That's actually really good. It may not sound great compared to the other segments, but considering where apartment condos have been in the past, those are actually some really, really good numbers. So we're going to take that off the screen and we're going to throw up our weekly stats. All right. Good grief, my mouse clicking is not very good today. So there we go. Here's our weekly stats now. So as always, we focus on detached because that's where I do most of my business. But certainly, again, as we've talked to other people in the past, we can always throw up other stats. Just throw a comment in the comment section. Let us know which other stats you would love to see. So for the week of the 1st to the 7th of October, 332 new listings, up from last week. Solds are down from last week to 301, matching actually identically 2 weeks ago. Pendings are also down. Sold plus pendings are at 405 for a net difference of 73. And the way I think about this net difference is the smaller that net difference number is, the closer we're getting to more of a balanced market. If we're seeing a big net difference on the plus side of like that plus 197, if that continues, that means that our listings on the detached side are all getting eaten up by sales and pendings. So we've kind of seen this fluctuation here over the last 5 weeks between plus 40 to plus 73, plus 197. So we're a little bit all over the map, but what we're seeing is still a decrease in detached listings down to 2260 this week from 2276. So again, if we look at the numbers here over the last 5 weeks, we're just not seeing the weekly numbers in terms of detached listings new on the market or total on the market that week increasing. So that's still creating the pressure on pricing. And our total listings down 52, 54. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. We're not, again, seeing a lot of difference in new listings coming on the market. So again, what does this mean to you? I harp on this every week. In this kind of market, great time to be a seller. because there's limited supply and there's still lots of demand. So anyway, that's a wrap on stats and our benchmark prices. And we're going to remove that. And then we're going to share your weekly rates, Jaden. And there they are.
Yeah, and not much change from last week. Very little change at all. I think the only real change was in the 5-year fixed went from 187 to 189. But I think one of the things that we should really be discussing this week, if you're looking at these fixed rates, this is a bit of a figment of your imagination, right? So
What?
these are absolute best fixed rates on the market. I'm seeing for a high ratio 5-year, the average for that right now is 2.19. So
Okay, talk about high ratio. What does that mean?
high ratio is when you put less than 20% down. So anytime you have an insured mortgage, so like that's generally speaking the cheapest money that you're going to find on the table because you're paying for mortgage insurance behind that, right?
Right.
But what's happening is that there's a few holdouts, a few people that are standing strong and have enough money invested in the bond price from earlier that they can continue to offer these rates. But the bond price has gone up, which means fixed interest rates have gone up. So the vast majority of what I'm seeing is between 2.14 and 2.19. These guys are hanging on, but that could change at the drop of a hat as well, right? So if you're really interested in that fixed rate market, if you're really really liking these rates that you see right now, and you have a house in mind, now is the time to jump on that. Like you should be doing that, because even though we think that the fixed market is going to come back down a little bit again, it goes up quickly and comes down slowly, right? So a really great opportunity to lock into great rates right now.
Awesome. We're working with clients right now. We talk all about time about the pre-approval process. Jaden has a great website. Talk a little bit again about your website and how that helps people with the pre-approval, because it's daunting, right? To get all the papers together. Maybe I don't know if anyone's like me. It's like, oh, I got to find where that is. I need to get better at my filing, but and it's really all digital. But talk about how your website kind of helps people with the pre-approval process.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that people don't realize is quite often they'll go on to one of the big banks, and they'll log in and they'll do a pre-qualification to find out how much they can afford, and that pre-qualification is worth less than not even the paper, the digital, the screen that you see. It's worth nothing because
Right.
none of your information has been confirmed, right? So the system I think is great at taking in the information. You fill it out in less than there we go, fill it out in
Yes.
less than 20 minutes with all of your information, hit submit, and right away it gives me the opportunity to pull credit to see if there's any issues there. As soon as you're done, it's going to spit out, I need these, and these photos, excuse me, documents. And there are people that have trouble finding their T4s and their NOAs and things like that. I have a service that'll take care of that for you. There's people that have trouble, maybe getting the right statements from their bank. I have a service that you literally log in through your online banking, and that service, without being intrusive, will pull out the statements from that login, right, and send them to
Yeah.
my way. So there's really easy, simple ways to get all that information over to me. I want all of that up front, and the reason for that is, there's a pre-approval I'm working on today, and there was a $10,000 deposit into their savings account. I think 2 weeks ago, and so if we went to a lender, the lender would say, where the heck is this $10,000 deposit coming from? The fact that I have it now means that we can have that conversation now and get the backup paperwork to show, okay, that $10,000 deposit is legitimate. It came from, the sale of my truck, for which I have, a history of registration and a sales slip, right? So I think that's a real incredible thing about within an hour, really, we can have a full package put together. Another hour after that, I can have a full look over everything, and we can have a real strong pre-approval in place.
Awesome. I posted links on my Facebook business page as well as YouTube to Jaden's pre-approval, mortgage calculator, all that good stuff. So that is all on there. Beauty of technology. So
Yeah, and I
awesome.
think it's been the beauty of this last year and a half for us. Both of us have invested heavily in technology, and it's really showing out.
Awesome. Great stuff, Jaden. As always, if you have questions about the real estate market, reach out to me right here on Facebook or YouTube, and Jaden as well. So, Jaden, you have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we will talk to you all next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.